Good morning, folks. I apologize that I'm not in class. I'm going over the practice problems we usually do in class, or as we like to call them, Section 3-2, go over Module 8. I'm going over with you on virtual because I'm not here. I'm not in class today. I know you're bummed about that I'm not here, but remember, you're young. You'll bounce back eventually. So anyway, with that being said, let's go over what you need to know. All right, starting with Section 3-2. Now, last time we talked about the relationships. We talked about all the relationships, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, all that. We talked about all that stuff. Well, now we're going to add one more condition to it. What happens when the lines are parallel? Now you see here those two marks. Those two marks mean that the lines are parallel. Now, because the lines are parallel, the alternate interior angles that you see right here are going to be congruent. Remember, that symbol means congruent. That means that, and you'll look and you'll see angles 3 and 5, and you will see angles 2. It says 5 over there, but it should say 8. So I'm going to fix that here in just a moment. Actually, I'll do that right now. We'll make that angle 8. So it says that that angle 2 is congruent. Excuse me, that should be angle 3. Let's redo the whole thing, and I apologize for that. I try to color code everything, and I am trying to get this done, so I apologize if I'm making any missteps. Okay, so all alternate angles are congruent as long as the lines are parallel. Now that's the condition that must be met. The lines must be parallel. All right, now at alternate exterior angle, once again, we look for this little marking. This says that the lines are parallel. So, alternate exterior angles. We have angles 1 and 7. We have angles 4 and 6. Those pairs of angles are going to be congruent. So alternate exterior angles are congruent. So that means that angle 4 is congruent to angle 6, and angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. And I'm going to highlight those for you because I like to color. You know I like to color because I do it all the time in class. My daughter's a little older, so I miss that from time to time. I'm kidding, but actually she is older. We don't color as much as we used to, but that's okay. That is quite all right. Okay. Now those are so we talked about alternate interior angles being congruent and alternate exterior angles being congruent. But what about same side interior angles? Now once again, we have the condition that both lines are parallel, as you see here. But in the case of same side interior angles, those angles are supplementary. Now we've got here angles 8 and 3, and we have angle 2 and 5. Those angles are going to be congruent to one another. So, or not congruent, they're supplementary. So the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 8 equals 180 degrees. And the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 5 also equals 180 degrees. All right. So we've talked about alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles being congruent. We've talked about same side interior angles being supplementary. And I do apologize that I'm not in class today, but these things happen, so Good thing we have Canvas and virtual and hybrid learning. So we're good. All right. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is corresponding angles. So corresponding angles, and once again, the lines are parallel. I'm just going to mark those. All right, so those lines are parallel. So now we have 4 pairs of congruent lines. Lines are angles 1 and angle 5. Angles 2 and 6. Angles 3 and 7. Along with angles 4 and 8. So corresponding angles, I'm going to write those, corresponding angles are congruent. So that means that, and I'll write these on here, so angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. And angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. Just like you see there. All right. I know we won't get through the whole thing before the 15 minutes runs out, so there will be 2 parts to this. But you can kind of see what we covered, what I normally cover with you in class. Unfortunately, I'm having to cover with you virtually. So here we go. All right. Now I want you to look at angles 1 and 45. Those are alternate interior angles. Well, since they're alternate interior angles, then that means that the measure of angle 1 equals 45 degrees. So that one's done. Now, on the other hand, angles 2 and 45, well, they're supplementary. So that means that the measure of angle 2 plus 45 degrees equals 180 degrees. So the measure of angle 2 equals 135 degrees. We could also say 1 and 2 are same side interior, but they would be supplementary as well. So either way, we're still going to get the same effect. All right. Now there's that one. Now look at 2. 2 and 115, those are corresponding. So that means that the measure of angle 2 equals 115 degrees, but of course, because they're corresponding. And then we look at 1 and 2. Well, they're supplementary. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. Well, we know that the measure of angle 2 is 115. So we got the measure of angle 1 plus 115 equals 180 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 equals 65 degrees. And you may want to slow these down and back them up a little bit if you need to, but we'll see. All right. Now, these here are my 2 parallel lines. So we're going to kind of divide this up into 2 parts. Just kind of divide it up. We're going to kind of split it up right there. This is one part and this is the other, but these 2 lines are parallel. So right here is my line. That's my line, but these are my 2 angles. And these are alternate interior angles. So the measure of angle 1 equals 95 degrees. They're alternate interior because this is my transversal, opposite sides of the transversal, and they're inside the 2 parallel lines. On the other hand, 50 and angle 2 are same side interior. So same side interior angle, so the measure of angle 2 plus 50 equals 180 degrees. So the measure of angle 2 equals 130 degrees. And it looks like we may actually get this done before the end, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Now, and once again, you may have to rewind some of these just to kind of get the idea. Okay. Now I want you to look at the following. 120 and angle 1. Those are corresponding angles. So 120 is corresponding to angle 120 degrees. All right, 3 is also going to be 120 because it's vertical to angle 1. 2 and 120. Angle 2 and 120, they're same side interior. So the measure of angle 2 plus 120 equals 180. So I subtract 120. So the measure of angle 2 equals 60 degrees. Now 4, if you look, angle 4 and angle 2 are vertical. So angle 4 is going to have a measure of 60 because it's vertical to angle 2. So now I have every angle up here with the exception of angle 5. Well, here's the thing. Angle 4 and angle 5, well, they're alternate exterior angles. So that means that angle 5 has a measure of 60 degrees because it's alternate exterior angle to angle 4. Or we could even say it is supplementary with angle 120. So either way, it's going to work. So, okay. That's the section go over stuff that we do in class. I apologize I'm not there today, but I will see you in class next week. This is for the Thursday group. I will be in class on Friday. So I'll see you then.